The 2026 Honda Civic lineup starts with two trims most buyers look at first: LX and Sport. On paper, they seem close, but in reality, they serve slightly different purposes. And understanding that difference can save you a few $1,000s or help you decide if the upgrades are worth it. Let's start with availability. The Civic LX is becoming a bit of a rare sight on dealer lots. Production is limited, and unlike the Sport, the LX only comes as a gas sedan. There's no LX hybrid and no LX hatchback either. If you want either of those body styles or powertrains, the Sport is your entry point. Price reflects that positioning too. The LX starts at $25,890, including destination and handling, while the Sport lands roughly a couple $1,000s higher, depending on options. So the question becomes simple: what exactly do you gain by stepping up? From the outside, the two cars look very similar, but there are a few visual clues. The Sport gets blacked out badges, including the Civic emblem on the trunk, while the LX keeps the classic silver chrome lettering. Another easy way to tell them apart is the wheels. The LX rides on smaller 16-inch steel wheels with covers, while the Sport steps up to larger 18-inch gloss black alloy wheels with a more athletic design, which visually fills the wheel arches much better. Inside, the Sport also switches to a black headliner, giving the cabin a slightly sportier feel, while the LX keeps the traditional light gray ceiling. There's also a small difference in the color palette. Both trims share most of the same exterior colors, but Urban Gray Pearl is only available on the Sport, while the LX gets the rest of the lineup. Inside is where the trims start to separate a bit more, though the overall layout is still mostly identical. The Sport uses a combination seat material, while the LX sticks with simple cloth upholstery. Both trims have manual driver's seat adjustments, and both come standard with push-button start, so the basic experience behind the wheel stays very similar. One thing to keep in mind: both trims keep things fairly simple on the comfort side. There's no sunroof, no heated seats, and no dual-zone climate control. So if those are must-have features, you'd need to move further up the Civic lineup. The second row shows a few more differences. The Sport gets a fold-down center armrest and a 60/40 split folding rear seat, which makes it easier to carry passengers and cargo at the same time. In the LX, the rear seat folds as one single piece, and there's no center armrest for rear passengers. Convenience features also tilt slightly toward the Sport. The LX does not include smart entry, which means there's no walk-away auto lock and no touch-sensitive door handles. You'll be using the key fob to lock and unlock the car. The Sport adds that hands-free functionality, making everyday use a bit more seamless. One small convenience difference is at the back of the car. On the LX, there's no trunk release button on the lid itself, so if you want to open it, you'll need to use either the key fob or the release button near the steering wheel. The Sport adds the exterior trunk button, which makes quick access a bit easier when your hands are full. On top of that, the Sport also adds a few small upgrades around the driver's area. You get a leather-wrapped steering wheel and shift knob, sportier metal pedals, and remote engine start, which the LX does not include. Both trims also come well equipped with the essentials: wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and the rest of the Honda Sensing safety suite, all standard. The Sport also adds blind spot indicators and heated side mirrors, and when you shift into reverse, the system activates cross-traffic alert, warning you if a vehicle is approaching from the side, a helpful feature when backing out of busy parking lots. Its mirrors are finished in glossy black, while the LX keeps simpler body-colored mirrors and skips those additional features. Audio is another small upgrade area. The Sport adds more speakers, giving it a fuller sound compared to the simpler setup in the LX. And if you're planning to keep your Civic looking new, I always recommend upgrading the floor protection right away. The Lasfit all-weather liners are one of the best upgrades you can add. They fit perfectly around the pedals, the footrest, and even the center hump in the rear, areas where dirt and snow usually end up. Mud, sand, spilled drinks, kids' shoes, everything stays contained in the deep channels. When it's time to clean, you simply take them out and hose them off. OEM mats run around $340, but with my code HONDAINSIDER, you can get the full Lasfit set for about $150, less than half the price, and honestly, better protection for the interior. Finally, under the hood, both trims are identical. The LX and the Sport use the same 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine paired with a CVT, producing 150 horsepower and 133 pound-feet of torque. So from a driving standpoint, there's no difference between the two. The decision really comes down to features, convenience, and styling. So which trim actually makes more sense? The Sport adds a few convenience features, slightly sportier styling, and a bit more flexibility in the cabin. But the LX focuses on something different: pure functionality. Think of it like a tool. When you need a screwdriver, what matters most is that it does the job reliably, not whether the handle is wrapped in leather. The Civic LX follows that same philosophy. It gives you the essentials of the Civic experience: efficiency, safety, and practicality, without adding things you may not need. So now I'm curious, which trim did you choose, LX or Sport? Let me know in the comments, and if you're leaning toward the Sport, make sure to check out my next video, where I'll show you tips and hidden features of the Civic Sport that most owners don't even realize their car has.